You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, in exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, Disney.
Well, hello everyone and welcome in once again. We have another program on here now, After the Storm. My goodness, you guys have got to stay with us. We have Gail coming in from Houston, Texas. She's a former Jehovah's Witness and she's going to share some information with you guys tonight. I know you'll find it very fascinating. So I'm going to bring Gail on and I'm going to let her do the rest of the program here. Gail, I'm going to step in the background, so I'm here if you need me.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for being here, coming back to see another show. I know we took off 2 weeks ago, but we're back now, and we just want to thank you for hanging in there with us. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I do want to say this, our hearts go out to the people in Florida who are still without power, who are still dealing with the devastating effects of this hurricane. Our hearts and prayers are with you, and yeah, we wish you well. It was really fascinating, the pictures coming out of there. But as you all know, the midterm elections are coming up. They're coming around the corner, and this name may or may not be on the ballot, but we have a guest tonight. He goes by GG for GB, and he is on the ballot ticket. And let's just give him a chance. We're going to talk to GG for GB, find out what his running program is all about, what he's running for, and why he is qualified for this position. Please help me welcome GG for GB.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. You know, a lot of people just don't understand it. It's really sad. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, when you're in the cult, their personality is stolen from them too. Like they lose their sense of humor, and it's so sad to see it. And then like when sometimes you go to a party with Jehovah's Witnesses and they all seem to tell the same lame joke. Like there's no individuality. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so sad. And that's one of the things we want to not only give you back your freedom, your liberty, all the things that you lost, but we also want to give you back your sense of humor. And I think I told you before too in a phone call, George, I think it's George Orwell. He says every joke is a tiny revolution. And now my campaign is not a joke, and I'll talk about that. But when we were making fun of the governing body, when we're saying the emperor has no clothes, you have to keep in mind that comedy is used to destroy your political opponent. For example, Saturday Night Live was not trying to be funny and making fun of Dan Quayle. They were setting out to destroy him because he was a very good-looking, conservative, influential Republican, and they didn't want him to climb up the ropes. They wanted ugly old white guys that they can knock down. And because Dan Quayle didn't fight back, George Bush, the dad, his vice president, for those of you who are a lot younger, he didn't fight back. And then he was defeated by Saturday Night Live and others. And that's why you see, for example, Donald Trump, he would always fight back. But the point has nothing to do with your politics. It has to do with these jokes are designed to kill and destroy the opposition. And I remember talking to Neil, the Great Apostate. We had one in my channel. You'll see under the playlist, the Gilbert Gonzalez group. We had a group, and we talked, and we talked about Ceausescu. For those of you who are watching from Europe, Nicolae Ceausescu back in the 90s, and how he was made a laughing stock. And so you lose power, you see, and so I think Mike and Kim call the governing body a bunch of clowns. Well, if they are clowns, let's laugh at them. And thank God we got Stephen Lett. So it is very powerful, and we should make fun of them. And they should be a complete laughing stock, because then the Jehovah's Witnesses they're gonna have to defend Stephen Lett. They're gonna have to defend Anthony Morris.
Yeah.
See, the burden is now on them. You tell me that you're being governed by Stephen Lett, and Jesus chose Stephen Lett to be one of his children, one of his sons of God, but yet you don't.
You're planting the seed for them to think about it like, wait a minute. How much education do these guys really have?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Jesus Christ chose Stephen Lett over me. No, we have a problem here. And you're from Houston, Gail. Houston.
Yeah,
We have a problem.
we have a problem, Houston. Yeah.
And also, if you look at the voting ballot, you saw it. I sent you the link. It talks about that. How dare you? If Watchtower is willing to steal your birthright, because this has nothing to do whether you have religious beliefs or not. The Jehovah's Witnesses call themselves the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. The Christian congregation.
Yeah.
God loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son. So all of us are his children. God loves us. But you have to wait 1,000 years while who? While Jared Loesch and Stephen Lant and Anthony Morris, they don't have to wait 1,000 years to be called sons of God? What are we so? Now, if they're willing if they're willing to steal, Gail, your birthright, what rightfully belongs to you the moment you were born, because you're a Christian in the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Let's use their language.
Right.
If
Okay.
you're a Christian in the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, you were born just by being born. The blood of Jesus Christ is on you. It's there.
Yeah.
Now, they steal that from you. What else are they going to steal? I'll tell you what they're going to steal. They're going to steal your kingdom hall that you mortgaged out for 30 years. They're going to steal your family. They're going to steal your youth in high school. They're going to steal all of your dreams and of education and extracurricular activities that you have. They're going to steal your girlfriend and your boyfriend. That's what they're going to steal. They're going to steal everything that they can get their hands on. So this is why we have to go, and this is a real campaign. And this is why you have to go to ggforgb.com. You can print it out in 11 languages, the ballot, and we can get about 4 more. We have the addresses to the different branch offices around the world. And you have to let them know. You have to rattle the cage, because we're not doing this for the governing body. We're doing this for the young men and women that work in those offices. Every Jehovah's Witness has a right to be able to choose freedom. We're going to put it in front of their faces.
Yeah.
If they have a choice, we don't know, Gail, because I have the seed. I put it in my website. Gail went through her kitchen, and you got some postage stamps that were just sitting around doing nothing. You put them to work, you mailed it, and God will make it grow.
Yeah.
And it was
Well, I
worth
tell you, you came out the gate making some strong points tonight. So let's just get to know you a little bit better. Like, how long were you associated with the organization? Were you born in? Did you come in later? And when did you leave?
Yeah, I was born in. So, in the early 70s, I was born in, and although my family, older brothers and sisters were Catholic, but yeah, I was born in. I was baptized July 19, 1986, and I made a promise. I made a promise in July 19, 1986 to bear witness of Jehovah, the God of the Watchtower, and by golly, I'm going to do it. I am not disfellowship, and I am the only person who is qualified to be a member of the governing body, because I have a letter directly from the governing body saying, Gilbert, you come up into our address and we will send you to jail. We will call the police and we will prosecute you. And they also said that you can never be within, like close distance with us. That means, like the Beatles say, I have a ticket to ride. There's no way in hell that I'm going to be in hell, because when I go and die, if I go to hell, say, I can't be with Anthony Morris. I can't be with Jared Loesch. I can't be with these guys, because I have it in writing. Remember, the Apostle Paul talked about letters of recommendation.
Well, I'd love to know how that happened.
I got my letter of recommendation. Here is my letter of recommendation. Watchtower thought they were going to threaten me and scare me. I had it framed.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and they have to go, and I'm going to tell you why they have to go. The reason
Were you protesting?
Oh yeah, I crashed their Kingdom Hall. I think Vanessa, was here earlier, and
Okay.
I crashed the Kingdom Hall in Tucson.
Oh, okay.
It was a beautiful crash. Now it's wrong. We shouldn't crash Kingdom Halls. We should respect people's property. And if I had to go back, I'd do it all over again. Yeah, I was wrong. I admit it. I don't have a problem admitting that I was wrong. I also flew the airplanes over their convention. While they were having a nice, peaceful convention, I flew 2 airplanes over them. I also protested in headquarters. And if I can go back, I'd do it all over again. And I know I'm
yeah. Well, we can debate whether or not that's effective, like you're saying. I don't know how many people you reached that night.
You know what matters? Jesus said, shine your light. And don't let anybody tell you what you need to do, what you don't do. You're the one that's going to die and going to find out that, guess what? The Catholics are right. And we got a big old line. There's a big old line over here.
Yeah. And your method of activism and my method of activism are different. No two activists look alike. And so we'll reach the people that we're intended to reach.
And when you're in
line, we talked about that earlier, right?
Right, because Gail's going to say, Gilbert, why are you cutting the line? He says, Gail, because I got a ticket. I got a ticket to ride, man. I don't have to wait that long, you know. They go, hey, same here. Look at this, you know. I got my ticket to ride, you know. And
Wow.
so that's what I'm saying. Everybody needs to do their thing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have to die. We're all going to die, and you have to die knowing that you did what you had to do.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, but you did it. And we gotta go peacefully, knowing, hey, I did everything I could to leave this world a better place.
Yeah. So for the people who are in there and they're hearing you, like, why does he think I don't see anything wrong with it? Why does he think I need to be awakened? What would you say?
Oh, Watchtower, why do you think you need to be awakened?
The people inside the watch, if they're listening to you, you're trying to help them and they don't realize they need help. Like what's the big deal? What are you seeing that we're not seeing?
Well, there's a lot of things. Let's just talk about one. In the very beginning, in the book of Genesis, the blood was crying out from the ground. There was blood that was saying, what happened here? Why am I dead? Why did my brother kill me? The Jehovah's Witness religion is a religion where many people have died because of suicide. How many of you drive down the street and you see a whole bunch of sheep laying around eating grass? When do you ever see a sheep get on top of a tree and hang himself?
Yeah.
Only in Jehovah's organization here on earth do you see the sheep get on trees and kill themselves.
Yeah.
So no, you know what? There has to be an answer. A lot of the Jehovah's Witnesses that say, well, you know, there's nothing wrong. No. You have your head in the sand because ignorance is bliss.
They look the other way.
When
Somebody commits suicide and it was shortly after they got this fellowship, they kind of look the other way. Well, they shouldn't have gotten in trouble. It's really a cold-hearted way to look at it, you know.
And look at John the Baptist. John the Baptist, he was born from old parents that never had children, and he was born into the priesthood. He was bad. I mean, Michael Jackson bad. And the Apostle Paul was like a little nerd, and this guy was manly. Come on, we know it, right? You can say it. And that's why we know the Apostle Paul doesn't talk like John the Baptist, like a bad man, like out in the wilderness bad.
Yeah.
John the Baptist abandoned everything. He threw everything his way. When Jesus was on earth, he should have been the high priest, because there were superstitious people, these Jewish people, and this guy's born from a priest, and priest. So everybody knew that John the Baptist was special.
Yeah.
But he threw it all away. He threw it all away because he knew that, guess what? They want to kill me too, just like all of the faithful prophets of the past.
Yeah.
He knew that it was a sham. He knew there were secret societies. He knew there were a bunch of liars. And he was willing to stand up for the truth. And that's what I'm telling you, Jehovah's Witnesses. You have to get your head out of the sand. When you see something wrong, no matter how wrong it is, you have to speak up. And then John the Baptist was the greatest man that ever lived amongst women. And we want to be in the image of John the Baptist. John the Baptist, Gandhi took a cue off John the Baptist. Gandhi used to be in London with a suit and tie. And then he got tired of it. And so he dressed the way he did because he wanted to represent the people.
Yeah.
John the Baptist, hey, that's John the Baptist? Well, it can't be, because look how he's dressed. He used to be a priest.
Yeah.
No, he wanted nothing to do with these people. You see, so that's what we have. So that's the thing. You have to be like John the Baptist, and you have to be willing to lose everything in order to gain everything. Look, that man right there lost everything. Martin Luther King. He gained everything.
Yeah.
You see, and you Jehovah's Witnesses are very comfortable. You're very comfortable in your nice Facebook religion, your nice pin. You know, everybody's in your Facebook groups. It's a social club.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to die.
Yeah.
Be willing to be ostracized like this man, and those men too.
So I guess we're reaching people who are in the stage where they know something's not right, and they're seeing this. Because for those who are not even questioning it, don't even realize there's an issue, well, this is not for them. You know, they're going to find fault with what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm not the one selling your Kingdom Hall after you mortgaged it for 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm not the one.
Let's talk about that a little bit more in depth, like how that works.
Real
how
simple.
they did that.
Yeah, I remember one of the last things I did as an elder was about property, and Watchtower did. I told the brothers in Yuma, Arizona, all of them. I go, this thing should be paid off in less than 8 years, cash without any loans. Watchtower wanted nothing to do with that. Wow. Watchtower wants to lend you money because they're always going to be title holders, like Menlo Park in California, the famous Menlo Park case.
Mm-hmm.
So who does that? Imagine if see, this is the thing. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, would you get mad if Bank of America or B of A would steal your property after you made your 360th payment?
Mm,
But Watchtower can get away with it?
yeah. So they mortgaged.
They-
Okay, so the people make the donations, right? Because I remember being in the Kingdom Hall where we had like $385,000 in the bank, and there
correct,
was a vote held one night to send that money to Watchtower.
correct.
But we already had a Kingdom Hall, but they said we needed another one. And that one was paid. I know for a fact that Kingdom Hall was paid off because I helped with the quick bill back in '84. And then so the pot grows to 385, and then it goes off to Watchtower. There was a vote held, and it was a unanimous vote to send the money. And I had no idea that this is what was going on.
Correct.
Like,
And Gail, when you were working at that hall, were there people contributing money, like, for example, electricians and the plumbers? Were there companies saying, you know what, I really like what you're doing here, I want to donate? Yes. In Yuma, Arizona, they did that. My brother donated air conditioners.
yeah, we
The
did. Mm-hmm.
people that were doing the trusses donated. The people that had the machines, the cranes
Yeah.
donated. Guess what? Not $1 of that donated money went against your balance sheet. So when you get a loan at your credit union to build a house, they'll say, okay, we're going to give you $350,000 loan, and you can write checks on it. But everything that you save at the end, let's say you only spent 300,000. Well, then
Yeah.
now the loan is now calculated at what you only spent, even though you have a
Mhm.
higher limit.
Like a
Now,
line of credit.
Watchtower doesn't let you
Mhm.
see those numbers.
Wow.
You see, so if they're lying to you about that, what else are they lying to you? And the birthright is what I'm trying to say. This is not a religious issue. They're willing to steal everything. They're basically saying that Jesus gave fishes and bread to those 5,000 people, and then he says, "Hey, apostles, you and I are going to eat filet mignon tonight." They get little fishes. Who does that? What father does
Yeah.
that to his children?
Yeah.
But they can be,
Wow, when you put it like that. Yeah.
sons of God, but you and I can't.
Yeah.
The reason why also the idea of being God's son is because now you can just walk with God on your own. I don't see, Gail, you don't need me and I don't need you. You're my sister. I'm your brother. It changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
You see, religion needs to have that power control over you. So they don't want you to identify as God's son, because then you're everybody's brother, you're everybody's equal. And now
Yeah.
it makes Jesus makes sense when he says, stop giving each other's titles.
Yeah. But
I
yet they do it. I could never understand that.
now
Deacon, bishop.
I'm not an elder, but I'm the Jehovah's Witness elder you wish you had when you were going to the Kingdom Hall. But that doesn't make me an elder. That just makes me the one that you wish you had. You know, he was like, man, I wish Gilbert was in my congregation. You know,
Right.
but unfortunately, you guys stuck with the bad guys. The baddies.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said
Oh,
earlier,
Gilbert,
oh,
Who
go
is
ahead.
this? Who is
well,
this?
what kind of charges could we press against Watchtower for those fraudulent donation accounts? Or
You
like
know-
just acting like a bank? Like how would
Correct.
we file charges against them for that?
I've talked about it before, and Gail, I'll mention it again. If you have a company in Texas or Arizona, and you take payments on houses or cars, buy here, pay here, you have to register with the state with the Secretary of State as a bank, because you have to have accounting principles. You have to show the state that you're charging interest according to fair accounting practices.
Right.
You're acting like a bank.
Yeah.
So if you're, for example, so an accounting firm will do that for you. So Watchtower is pretending to be a bank, but they never registered as a bank with the state. And so this has to be done on a state level. This is not a federal issue, but the state of Florida, say for example DeSantis, or in your case, your governor would have to say, hey, you acted like a bank, and then you, after 30 years of payments, you swooped the rug underneath them. So yeah, this is perfect for class action lawsuit for any attorneys, who would want to get. But the thing is, you
It
have
sounds like it falls under the RICO Act too.
correct,
The
and
RICO Act.
the Secretary of State and the governor would have to put it under like a RICO type. It's perfect because they violated the laws. They didn't register as a bank in every state. Go try to sell cars and buy here, pay here, and not register. See what happens to you.
Mm.
Yeah.
That KH donate, that was a fraudulent donation. They never built any free Kingdom Halls for anybody, but they accepted money for free Kingdom Halls. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Vern. So
Oh,
what's
well,
next? Go
They
ahead.
have that. What? Say it again.
No, I'm done. I'm
Oh,
done.
they had the whole cage donate. That whole cage donate Kingdom Hall donation fund, so that people could get free Kingdom Halls built places, but they never once used that money to build a free Kingdom Hall for anybody.
Correct. But I
And
really
so
think
that would be like charitable fraud.
yeah, that would be a totally. I think that would fall under a
That
different
is.
category, charitable fraud. In this aspect, it's accounting fraud because you're financing and charging interest and financing implies that you're the owner of the home.
Yeah.
So then you go into RICO because like, hey, this is something the mafia, not even the mafia would do something like this. This is so sad. So
No,
so
because it's so
hopefully
blatantly illegal.
so hopefully we'll have some attorneys that that see this and will say, hey, class action lawsuit. This is perfect. But the state would have to get involved. The state would have to get involved. And going back to the First Amendment, a lot of lawyers don't want to fight the religious thing. But no, this is a clear case. This is a clear case of a
Yeah.
30-year mortgage payment, 6% interest. And then Jesus tells you, the Bible talks about lending your brother interest. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Goes against
And then
usury.
the bank then says, sign over ownership of that house, then back over to us, and we'll charge you lifetime rent for it too. No bank would ever do that.
No, they won't. No.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. So okay, what other questions do we have?
Well, I was reading the comments. Thank
Oh.
you for being here, Darth Guido. I'm sorry to
Darth
hear that Darth Guido. Okay. We're sorry to hear that you're still without power. You're running on a generator and you're watching us. Wow. Thank you for being here. My
That's
goodness.
yeah, that's Joe. He actually, yeah, he's suffering. Yeah, he suffered I just talked to him a while ago. He
Yeah.
a lot of losses down in Florida.
Wow. So I wonder if he flooded. I guess he didn't flood. They're just
He
without power.
Yeah, he had a little flood, just about a foot or so.
Oh man. That's
Still,
a lot of damage. That's enough to do damage.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh
And
man.
Watchtower's not there to help anybody. That's just a sad thing. And one of the sad things that hurts me about being a Jehovah's Witness is, now that I'm a GG for GB, is that I look back of all the wasted potential, that we had so much potential, great people, and we just basically flushed it down the drain. And it's because we have leadership like the one we have at the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they have to go. There's blood on their hands of the suicide. There's blood on their hands on the
No blood.
yeah, no blood.
Yeah.
And then Jeffrey Jackson is a member of the governing body, and he still has not produced one piece of evidence to the Australian Royal Commission on Child Sex Abuse. What is happening here? So the real electors of Watchtower have to vote these people out, because the real electors of Watchtower are the shareholders of the New York and Pennsylvania corporations. Those are the ones that listen, all you have to do is go buy stock through Wells Fargo, B of A, buy stock, any stock directly. You will get a letter in the mail saying, hey, it's quarterly or yearly, you have to vote because you're a shareholder.
Yeah.
Now, if you buy a mutual fund, no, the mutual fund votes on your behalf. So Watchtower has shareholders, and they have to answer to them, and they're the ones that appoint. They're the ones that appoint the governing body. This is what I'm telling you. We have to let everybody let them know. Flood Watchtower. A lot of with voting ballots. A lot of you have postage just laying around. I paid a lot of money to get this translated in 11 languages and about 4 more, and with voiceovers.
Yeah. I saw the video earlier. It was good.
Yeah. Oh, and the video
amazing.
and the video ended at the end with Count Basie and the Mills Brothers singing, "I think you're wonderful." I may be wrong, but I think you're wonderful. And I thought it was very fitting when we're talking about GG.
Right. Yeah. So I was thinking, as you were talking earlier, I was thinking about those that are in their late 60s, 70s, 80s that are like, wow, I believed in it all this time, might as well stay put. A lot of people think like that,
Yeah.
They know something is wrong and they're like, man, I've spent so much time.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because Watchtower somehow through their speeches and somehow through their literature feed like female hormones to men in the congregation. See, women are supposed to have female hormones, but men are supposed to have testosterone. It's supposed to be that way.
Right.
No, one is not better than the other. It's the perfect balance. Because if you have too much testosterone, then you have no compassion, or vice versa. So what happens is we have a bunch of people who have no testosterone. They don't think like men. And so what happens is a man who's been in the Jehovah's organization here for 60 years says, oh my God, this is what we're training for. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. John the Baptist had that moment.
Excuse me 1 second, Gilbert and Gail, we've got the telephone line always goes out. So we're just going to take 2 seconds to take about 2 minutes. We're going to get the program back up. Okay, stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
So you understand, Gail?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he had an epiphany. And he understood that all of the people before him.
Welcome into the live Six Screens conference calls.
Born for this moment.
Thank you for joining in.
If you're a 60-year-old, you were born for this moment.
When you are talking, press star.
And now it's your time to put into practice everything you've learned. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses are the Pharisees that are going to tell Jesus.
We hope you enjoy the program.
People like Martin Luther King
will now be placed into the conference.
Please enter PIN followed by the pound.
You have to put it, you've been trained for this moment in time.
There are 12 participants in the conference.
There is no room for feeling sorry for yourself.
Your storage is full. Please log in and delete recordings or purchase more storage.
You think those men up there, you think George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, do you think Gilbert Gonzalez and Eisenhower and Patton, do you think those men felt sorry for themselves? No. You have to go over here and find people like Anthony, Joe Biden, and the Kool-Aid guy, and that guy, that chronic masturbator, and and that other guy. Those guys feel sorry for themselves.
Yeah.
No, I want to be like this guy.
Yeah.
Like Elvis Presley.
So they're getting hormone therapy, is what you're saying then? They're getting hormone therapy.
If you're a 60-year-old,
they're being programmed.
Correct. And you go to a convention, and what do they give you? They give you a program.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the news, and what do they give you? The tonight's program.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you, Gail, is men need to understand, and women too, that you were trained for this moment in time. You went to the meetings, you studied according to the Bible, and what the hell do you think was going to happen? Nobody promised you a rose garden. You know how the story goes? The Bible story goes like this: God sends His Son down, and they kill him. You think they're going to do what they're going to do to you? So pull your bootstraps up. You're a Jehovah's Witness. You've been in Jehovah's organization all your life. Well, now it's time to get to work.
Yeah. I think they were neutralized. Like you said, they were neutered for a moment like this, right? To not fight back, not do anything. And you made a good point, a strong point earlier about fighting back. And those that don't fight back lose.
Yeah. Those that don't fight back are not like them. Those they're like those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It may cost you something. We all know it, but it'll cost you something, you know.
Yeah. And you know what? I told you to ask me the question, why am I doing this? Why am I
Why are you doing this? Yeah.
And it's very simple. Are we live, Rick?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, live.
It's just the phone line that had to reset.
So it's real simple.
Yeah.
The reason I'm doing this is real simple. I want to make a name for myself in Jehovah's organization here on earth. And that's what they say about the apostates. They go, the apostates want to make a name for themselves. Damn right I want to make a name for themselves, because the Jehovah's Witnesses say that Jehovah always had an organization. Noah was an organization. Moses was his organization.
Mm-hmm.
They made a name for themselves. Moses made a name for himself. David made a name for himself. Samson and Solomon made a name for themselves. And they're in Hebrews 10. And the world was not worthy of them. I want to make a name for myself, and I want to be on that list. I want to be on the list of people that made a name for themselves. Doing what? Shining their light, exposing the truth, and saying, those guys are liars. Those guys are evil, and they're talking in the name of God, and they're selling God for a price.
That's true. Yeah.
And then I will be like those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And not like those guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah.
I want to be like Hulk Hogan, you know? I want to be like Frederick Krantz. And speaking of Frederick Krantz, you know Frederick Krantz wrote a book, right?
No, I didn't.
No, Ray, Frederick, no.
Oh, Ray did, yeah. Okay. I thought you meant his uncle. Crisis of Conscience.
Correct. And it was real big, a lot of reading. I don't like that. So I wrote a 40-page book in a portrait or a landscape format.
Okay.
And it's in my book, GG for GB, 40 pages. Cover is 2. I write 2 pages, so that leaves 36. And basically, it's from my friend Pete. Pete had a book, and he would always write down all of the names of his family members,
Okay.
the special dates, the birthdays. Yeah, let me ask you a question. This month, last month, did you send your brother, sister, cousins birthday cards? And the reason we don't,
I did a birthday message. Yeah.
The reason we don't as Jehovah's Witnesses because we were programmed, we were trained to be selfish.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name is Gilbert Gonzalez. I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and I was selfish. I was self-righteous. I didn't care about anybody but myself. I didn't know that. I didn't feel like a mean person, but I was. But now I'm going to change my habits. I'm going to change my ways. In this book, there's a famous broadcaster, and I quote, he says, people don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a habit. How do rich people get rich? They count their money. They get their money and they count it every morning. And then at nighttime, they count it again, make sure it's there. And see if they have a little bit of interest. That's all they do. And how do bodybuilders get so big like Hulk Hogan? They have habits. Well, how is it that you can be a man like I quote Einstein? Don't be a man of success. Be a man of value. How do you do it? You go to ggforgb.com. You buy my book, $9.95 or $12.95 in a landscape format. It'll change your life. And then you'll say, damn, Gilbert, you really are the Jehovah's Witness elder I wish I had. You want to
Is it a planner? Is it in a planner format? Okay.
Yeah, it has everybody's like you put, Joe, and then you have his address and everything. So at the beginning of every month, my friend Pete, at the beginning, he would have a list, and he would know what he had to buy, and he would budget like $100 to $300. This guy had a big family.
Right.
And his funeral was huge, and everybody said the same thing. My Uncle Pete always remembered me on my birthday. Imagine that. And his son, his nephews, his brother was a self-made millionaire. His 2 nephews, city overseer of Jehovah's Witnesses in Yuma, Arizona, Mark Deanda.
Okay.
My brother-in-law, circuit overseer, Paul Deanda. They're Jehovah's Witnesses, self-made men in Yuma. And they don't remember nobody's birthdays. They don't remember nobody's birthdays.
Oh, wow.
They've been programmed. You have to understand. You have to admit to yourself that you've been programmed.
Mm-hmm. That was something new for me, remembering all these dates. Mm-hmm. That was something new for me, but I celebrate it. I love celebrating people now. Yeah. And like you said, it felt, when I do it now, it's like, oh my goodness, we didn't even acknowledge it before. I've only been out 5 years. This month will make 5 years that I've been out. And I don't remember acknowledging people like this and celebrating people. And it feels so good. Yeah. It feels good to celebrate other people.
And now you know why, because you were programmed.
Yeah, I was programmed.
You have to, and if you want to be rich, you got to reprogram yourself, because they teach you to be poor. Watchtower program you to be poor. And Jesus says, no, chop down that tree that doesn't give fruit. Jesus says that every good tree has to give fruit. And so when I pray to God, I don't ask for money. I ask that the tree of my hands produce fruit. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I want to be a fruit-bearing person. That's all. I'm not asking for riches. I'm just, and one of the reasons I printed this book is because I want to buy myself this $100,000 Infinity. And the reason why, because in West Palm Beach, Florida, Jared Loesch went in there with a $100,000 Infinity, and this young kid, this is 2016, he calls me, and he's working in the back, and Jared Loesch goes in with a $100,000 Infinity. Wow. And this kid knows the model and everything and all the details.
Yeah.
He has a car in Florida, like a 1990s or something with no air conditioning,
Yeah.
And he's a regular pioneer, and he just couldn't. He was just having like everything was coming in, and he started watching apostate videos. That was his.
That was his moment. Seeing that.
So he asked me, Gail, because he's black, and he goes, Gilbert, he goes, I got a question for you. He goes, all my family's black and Jehovah's Witnesses, and I want to have dreadlocks, but he goes, nobody in my family wants me to have dreadlocks. And he goes, what do you think? And I says, listen, I go, I'm the Jehovah's Witness elder you wish you had. The Bible says, whatever it is you are doing, work at your whole soul to the Lord and not from me. So what are you doing? You're growing hair. So let the whole world know that you have the baddest hair, and God gave it to you. Let it shine, because what God has giveth, God will taketh away. When you get old.
Yeah.
See, that's the whole thing. Jehovah's Witnesses, and I learned this because I had a personal experience. You have to learn to use the Bible to uplift people. Jesus brought people up. when
Yeah.
in John 8, he didn't condemn the woman for being an adulteress.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that the guy got off scot-free. He didn't condemn her. He lifted her up. She didn't
Yeah.
want to sin anymore. She fell in love with Jesus.
Yeah.
You see, you don't use the Bible to hurt people. You use the Bible to say, guess what? You and I are brothers. We've accepted our birthright. We're part of a family. Let's stop this. Let's stop this. Let's treat each other nice.
Yeah.
It's
And
for
that's what's been happening for so long. The Bible has been used as a weapon to control people, but all of a sudden in the last 2 years, people are like, no more. It's not just this organization. I've noticed it in other organizations too. We see it happening. People are leaving Christianity. They're leaving the Mormons. They're leaving Adventists, and they're talking about it. Something is happening on a spiritual level.
yeah. And hold on, let me get this in real quick. Here's the voting ballot.
Yeah,
Right?
we're gonna get to that. Yeah.
Here's this, and let me tell you something. Going back to why I'm qualified as a governing body, and what we were just talking about right now. Jehovah's Witnesses. My sister calls me mentally diseased. My brother says I'm Satan's spawn. But I love them. I'm the Jehovah's Witness. I love Jehovah's Witnesses. I never got this fellowship. I'm still a Jehovah's Witness, and I want to be a governing body because I want to show you that the apostates are filled with love. We turn the other cheek, just like Jesus says. We pray for our brothers when they insult us. When our brothers say that we're Satan's spawn and that we're mentally diseased, we get on our knees and we pray, Father, help them, help them. Why? Because we're filled with love. That's how you're qualified to be a member of the governing body. When you start telling people, guess what? God loves us. You're my brother and I'm your brother. Let's stop fighting. Let's stop fighting.
So can you read some of the points that are on your ballot?
Oh, no, it
Can
just
you
says,
share some with us? And then you print it out and mail it, right? You mail it to your nearest branch?
yeah, I have all these branches, but it says, Gilbert is right. As long as I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses, I will not be given my rightful place in the universe as part of our Father's family. I have to wait 1,000 years before that can become a reality. Think about that. And this is the most important part at the end. I enclose this voting ballot with the hope that you repent for holding back what our Father has freely given mankind, and that you give Gigi for Gigi his rightful place as the first elected member of the governing body of Jehovah's Witness and representing the Hispanic community, because we want our brothers to repent. We love Jehovah's Witnesses. I love the Jehovah's Witnesses so much. Look, I became a member of the governing body.
Yeah.
I love them that much. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. This person today, when I was so happy, she commented on my video when I first put it out. She goes, "This is ridiculous. There's so many things happening in the world, and this is no. Every human life is precious. What good is having World War III come tonight, and a nuclear blast comes off, and we're all dead? But our brother and sister didn't repent. No. We all go. Where one goes, we all go. We united we stand, divided we fall. That has to be our motto. We're going down with the shit, man.
Yeah.
We're all of us are going to go together, and we're going to bring our brothers, Jehovah's Witness brothers and sisters, kicking and screaming. But man, they're going to come to freedom.
Yeah.
They're going to come to freedom. And those pictures that you're seeing about right now about the governing body, those pictures, the reason why we do that is because Jehovah's Witnesses are going to say, hey, those pictures are doctored. That's a bunch of misinformation. No, I'll tell you what misinformation is. 1914, 607 BC, misinformation, saying that the Jehovah's Witnesses, zealous brothers, were responsible for 1975. That's misinformation.
Yeah.
What a lie.
Exactly.
These are good edits.
We, the apostates, don't have misinformation. We have love. And we don't have to be here on a Saturday night doing this stuff. We do it because we love you. That's why.
Yeah.
We do this because Jesus is right. He told us to love our brothers.
Yeah.
And we're going to.
Who needs Saturday Night Live when you have the 6 screens of Watchtower on Saturday nights? Who needs it, right?
You need a Zixing here? Yeah.
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 Wow. Let me check the comments. Let's see. There needs to be a congregation. We were talking earlier about, where you go after you leave. Where you go after you leave Watchtower, because we're so programmed that we have to be a part of something. Like, are you starting up a church or something?
Yeah, it's the NOCACA, the National Organization of Congregations Against Cult Abuse. But I'm the only member, and it's real simple. It's a real simple. Listen, we all have a parent. We all have a mom or a dad or a loved one, right? That was a father figure. And And when my dad would take me to Mexico sometimes with him to go get groceries for the family, it was just me and my dad. Now, my brothers and sisters were in the house, but it was just me and my dad.
Right.
So you know what happens when you leave Watchtower? You walk with Jesus. You say, Dad, and you just go outside and you just talk to him. And you say, Dad, Father, can I talk to Jesus? You know what? One thing that you can do is, as a Jehovah's Witness, is just talk to Jesus. Say, Father, I know you love Jesus. So can I talk to him? And just talk to Jesus.
Yeah.
And just walk with him. Just go outside in the park, go and just talk to him. That's all you have to do. So where do you go? You're part of the family already. When you accept, when you say, God, when you, this one person says, Gilbert, how dare you say that God's son? You have to do, where in the scriptures does it say you have to, that you could just be God's son? And then I quote Matthew 6, where Jesus says, go to your room and say, Heavenly Father. You know?
That was our birthright.
Gilbert and Gail, this is Rick. I got a clip here. I got a new YouTube that Gilbert just put up today. A promotion.
Okay.
I want to play a little bit of it. Okay.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it, and then
right
we'll bring in comments.
Okay, here we go. This is Gilbert.
Okay.
He's running for the governing body. So let's all vote for Gilbert.
You're probably asking yourself, why are you doing this? It's very simple. I want you to accept the birthright that Watchtower has stolen from you. Watchtower has made it very clear that you have to wait 1,000 years after Armageddon before you can become a son of God. As long as you are one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you will always be a slave to Jehovah. Yet Jesus Christ, the truth, has set you free. He has purchased you from mankind and has made you part of God's universal family. Jesus has received freely and he has given freely. If you decide to accept the freedom that comes in Jesus Christ, what then shall you do? You shall shine your light and not the light of a group of men in New York. Slaves have no right to vote and their opinions hold no value. Yet a son of God can not only vote, he also has the God-given right to free speech, to worship as he pleases, and the right to pursue happiness.
Well, there you go. That's a video that.
Thank you, Rick. That's the power of the vote, huh?
Yeah, it's the power of the vote, and it's also we're sending a message, and we need the young kids in Watchtower to talk amongst themselves. Imagine, see what Gail, a young brother or sister is not going to listen to you or me. They're really not. We've got to admit that. But if we drop the seed and they talk amongst themselves, well, then that's different. And you know, the beautiful thing is, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, Gail and I don't own you. We don't own you. You don't have to come back to us. We don't own you. You see, Watchtower owns you. You have to keep coming back.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is what freedom is about. This is what having a father is all about.
Yeah. And I'm noticing a cycle too, right? Like after 1975, they came out with the youth book. The youth book was the red one, right? And then shortly after that, it was the young people ask book, right? And so now we see them targeting or focusing on the young ones because there's a certain age group that they're dying off. They're dying off and taking with them the old indoctrination, like stuff nobody would remember. And they're focusing on the younger generation. And this is how they're able to survive. Each catastrophe that Watchtower goes through, they focus on the younger ones and build them up. And I think that's how they've been able to stay around.
Yeah, but the reason also for those books is because you see those books become a father figure for men who have abandoned their responsibility in raising their children as far as spiritual matters. So a lot of women, they go to the Kingdom Hall, they go to other churches because they want to give their children a God church experience. So Watchtower goes in an adulterous type relationship. They go in and they try to be that daddy, when in reality, dad is supposed to say, no, we are the church. Me, mom, and kids. We are the church. And we are going to decide as a family by voting if we're going to do this, if we're going to do that. We're a family. See, they take that away. And so these books are designed to, and you know it in your Kingdom Hall. Think of all the women that went to the meetings without their husbands. See? And that's what the books do. They target the weak ones.
Yeah.
And the
women are the decision makers.
Correct. And the women naturally want an authoritative figure to help their children.
Yeah.
But it's a trap.
Also, I got it. Hello. So this is Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
say is, I left in 1990, and the shit is not going to wash today because the internet exposed them.
Correct.
They're a former publishing company, and it's not there anymore. These kids can get on the internet and research Watchtower like I couldn't do in the late 80s, 1990s. So I'm just trying to say, folks, they're going to keep losing people.
Correct.
These kids are not going to stay. If they're smart, they're going to research them, and they're going to see their failed predictions, all this bullshit they put out, and it's not going to wash.
Correct.
That's all I got to say.
And I think that's why they're panicking, because for the first time in 150 years, it's not working.
Correct. It's not working, and it's
not working anymore.
And it's also because. But listen, do you know why it's not working? Let me tell you why it's not working. Look at Walt Disney. Walt Disney is we know the thing about the pedophilia. We know about the demon images, and new stuff is just completely bad. Why? It's very simple. Because living forever. This is what happens. We're not supposed to live forever. So Walt Disney creates something, right? And it's perfect. It's good because he is the one that built it with his hands, and he has a vested interest. So now the company is great, and then the company kind of goes to his son or whatever, and then it's kind of okay. But King Solomon said this. He goes, "How do I know that everything I built, my son is going to keep it up?" Well, it didn't. The country went to a civil war and it was divided. 10 kings of the north, 2 kings of the south, and the son destroyed everything. So now, if Walt Disney was alive today, he says, "How did you guys do this?" Because the people in charge have no vested interest. Look, when you and I went to.
How did you let this happen? Yeah.
How did you let this happen? So I went to New York, and Brother Barr was a member of the governing body, and he was out in the streets of Brooklyn preaching, like close to 100 years of age, with his magazines with his wife. So here you have a 90-year-old man who was the first district overseer west of the Mississippi, Brother Barr, governing body member. He had a vested interest in the organization. He was a working member like me in the congregation. And so were the other elders and other members of the governing body. Now you have a group of people that have just received. And like King Solomon said, all of your children and grandchildren received everything that grandpa built, and now it's all gone to shit.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing that the Watchtower is falling apart, because Anthony Morris never went to the jungles. Jared Loesch never had dinner in the.
They didn't connect with the people.
Arizona. Listen, I'm going to show you real quick. Here in the middle of nowhere, where the Mormons and the Mennonites live. I used to go when I was 19, 20 years old, and I used to work that whole desert. And 2-3 people would show up on a Sunday. After 2.5 years, we had over 100 people in a small town, in a very small town. It was a bustling congregation. Why? Because I worked my ass off. And I'm not afraid to say it, because anybody who works will see fruit. And that's what happened with the old Jehovah's Witnesses. They really did work. You got to give it to them. They did work.
Yeah.
Now these people are stealing everything and have no vested interest. Stephen Lett never plumbed a Kingdom Hall.
Yeah.
He never drywalled a Kingdom Hall.
Yeah.
See, this is what this problem. So the Jehovah's Witnesses is designed to fail unless they get new leadership in the office, and that's why I'm running for GG for GB.
Yeah.
Or the Titanic is going down.
Right. And just for those in the comments, this is total satire. I hope you see that. just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. You know.
See, they don't understand it. See, and Watchtower didn't teach them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pixie. I was just about to ask if there was anybody that wanted to say something.
Well, what I wanted to ask him is if he had a slogan or if he had a mascot for his party. And I keep getting this vision of the governing body with alligator heads in suits.
That's a good question. Yeah. We have to come up with a tagline.
Walk over alligators to get to Amazonian meetings, and so I just thought that maybe if you had an alligator in a little suit, it would be a good mascot for your party.
Now, for those of you that don't understand, Gail, everything I'm saying is no different than what Watchtower is doing. I'm just saying it out loud.
Right. That's right.
I'm saying I want to make a
And you
name.
don't have.
I'm not
How are
pretending.
you funding your campaign? You don't have the funding behind you either. How are you
No,
doing that?
I have a full-time job, and also do my book. So hopefully I'll get a nice $100,000 car like Jared Loesch. You got to keep up with. Got to keep up with the members of the governing body.
Right.
Got to get out of my apartment and buy a condo in Tuxedo Park. Mansion over there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just not cutting it.
Total satire. But when you find out how they truly live, you would, yeah, you'd make a decision.
Yeah, I'm saying so, and that's what going back to the very beginning. Jehovah's Witnesses, they stole your sense of humor too. They stole your birthright. They stole your
Yeah.
kingdom. They stole your sense of humor, and you don't understand that everything that I'm saying is exactly what they're doing. They're trying to make a name for themselves through the JW broadcast, and then you criticize me for making a name for myself.
Right. Why does it sound logical when they say it, but preposterous when you say it? You got to
Correct.
think about that. There's something. Go ahead, speak up, please.
Mhm.
Do we have somebody that wanted to say something? It's to hit *6 if you're on the phone line.
And also,
At this time.
if you do go to ggforgb.com and you do buy my book, you will get an autographed copy. This one's in high gloss because the governing body autographs their Bibles at the conventions, and I feel I should do the same thing. So I autograph just like Jared Loesch autographs Bibles. I autograph my voting ballot. So
Yeah, I know this is satire, but you're serious. About us mailing the ballots.
yeah,
No
because
machine voting or anything.
no, just
Mail
imagine,
in.
Gail, you're 22 years old, you're working in Bethel, and you see a letter, and you're in charge of opening up the mail, and you see that, and then you see it in Russian, and then you see it in Japanese, and then you see it and then you're going to be like, you know what, something's happening. You know how everybody right now is expecting World War III, and people saying something's happening.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
we're in it, and they don't know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you start sending these things into Watchtower, the 22-year-old kid now is something has happened. The seed has been planted, and this, Gail, is what people don't understand. I already have the coins. Jesus talked about having talents. I already have my talents, and every time you send a voting ballot to New York City or any of the other branch offices, you're dropping a seed, and if that seed germinates, you won't know in this life, but maybe in the next life you'll know.
Right.
I also want to tell you one thing, and I mentioned to you on the phone. Those seeds that you plant, George Washington said, freedom, when it takes root, is a plant of rapid growth. When a 22-year-old Jehovah's Witness receives this in the mail in Bethel, and he's in the mailroom, and he says, I have to wait 1,000 years before that can become a reality, that's a seed, my friend.
Yeah.
That is a seed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well said. Wonderful.
Mhm.
I like your campaign.
Yeah. Now you can see my
Yeah.
qualifications and why I'm qualified.
I see that you're qualified. Yeah.
You need that high energy. Don't let Watchtower bring that negative energy down. You have
Yeah.
to turn it around. And I'm not criticizing the people that came before me and the people that do come on these shows and they tell their sad stories. I understand it, but you have to at some point make lemonade. I've lost just like you have too. I've lost loved ones and girls I've loved, like Willie Nelson says, to all the girls I loved before. I've lost it all. But you got to learn to be made out of things.
Yeah.
And when I left the Jehovah's Witnesses and I lost everything. I lost everything.
Wow.
And guess what?
You still have a smile on your face.
Now I made a name for myself. I won everything.
Well, you have my vote.
Yeah, because I go to sleep at night knowing that I tell God I don't own anybody. You see, the great men of the past, they didn't want to own slaves. They said, that time is over. And then Martin Luther King says, no, you guys need to live up to your to your promise. You said no slavery, but no. It's quasi-slavery. You need to, and he called it in that famous speech, he talked about a blank check. He goes, you have a check that came back NSF, non-sufficient funds. And Martin Luther King says, no, you need to make good on this check. And I don't want to own any human beings anymore.
Yeah.
Watchtower still owns you. You still have to go to the meeting. And if you don't go to the meeting, they have all of your friends. They have all of your family.
Yeah.
They own you. I don't want to own people. It's wrong. The great men of these two men, this guy died. He died in Germany. They killed him.
Yeah.
He fought World War II. slavery has to come to an end and people have to be willing to die. This is a bullet in the
Yeah.
head. He took a bullet in the head.
Yeah.
So
I would say let the light lead you. The light will lead you to the truth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just rambling on, but yeah, whatever it is, just don't be like those Kool-Aid people, just be like these guys, man. Yeah. And that's
I
just
like it.
and that's just how it is. Look, that's Walt Disney, and then it just over the years it turned, and that's just how Earth is. It's a decay. We're always in a process of decay, so we always have to be pushing ourselves to be better people. And one way you can push yourself to be a better person is going to ggforgb.com and buying my book.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's a good idea. Remembering people's birthdays and just celebrating and just
yeah.
I had one more question for you. Do you think there are too many ex-Jehovah's Witnesses doing YouTube videos? Do you think there's
No,
too many?
no, and I'm going to tell you why. But I'm going to answer this. I'm going to just read this real
Okay.
quick.
Okay.
Albert Einstein, try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. See, that's what we do. And so you become a man of value when you make YouTube videos. The more people make YouTube videos, the better, because you never know. And see, I believe in God and I believe in the Holy Spirit, and I really do believe that young kid in Bethel, Marcus Vaughn called me when he got out of Bethel. He called me. I had the Wake hotline. I had a Wake hotline. He called the number, and
Wow.
so, but I can't reach certain people, but Marcus Vaughn can. That's why videos. Nellie Lugo, great woman. She was with me way in the very beginning. And she goes, Gabriel, you need to do Spanish videos. I go, no, Nellie, you do it. She gets 50,000 views when she puts a video.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. Yeah.
See, Gail, I can't teach you something because I'm a man, or vice versa. We need to hear things from people who, a single mom needs to hear from a single mom.
Yes.
A married woman who's widowed needs to hear from a widowed woman. It's just how it is. And that's why we need everybody doing something. And I some guy made fun of me, but I quoted the movie Grease, the musical. If you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. So if you can't be an apostate, for crying out loud, help out the apostate, help the apostate that you possibly can, however you see fit. Make sure you your videos, make sure you give them thumbs up, make sure you do whatever. But we need everybody out there because we're seed throwers. We are seed throwers. That's all we are.
Because there are scholars, there are Bible scholars that think that the ones making the YouTube videos and speaking up like we are is just a small minority of people that have left. And we're trying to show that that's not the case.
No.
That's not the case.
No.
Yeah.
Remember,
Right.
we're not all going to get along, and that's good because that happened with Jesus when the apostle says, look at those guys. And he says, hey, leave them alone. If they're not against you, they're with you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't like me. Guess what? I don't like them either. But we're working together for the same cause. I have no need to be fighting you. And this is the other thing too. When you imagine, we're fighting World War II. These guys one guy is fighting in Europe, the other guy's fighting in Japan, the other guy's fighting in North Africa. Everyone has a different battlefield. We all get together at Christmas time and Thanksgiving, but we all have to go back to our respective battlefields. That's why we need everybody to jump on board. However you see fit, just jump.
All hands on deck. That's what I say. All hands on deck. Yeah.
The more the merrier. And those guys are wrong. They call themselves scholars and all these other things. Jesus didn't call himself a scholar. Jesus was totally against all that. Jesus was a fisherman. Those guys actually think they're smart. No, they're not smart. No, they're not.
We can see it so clearly now. We just have to keep dropping these seeds because we see it clearly, right?
Yeah.
And if we keep dropping those seeds, hopefully it'll be there for when somebody's ready to pick it up and say, let me see what this is all about.
Correct.
Jesus says, thank you.
Remember, he said, I praise you, Father, because you have hidden these things from the intellectuals, the governing body, the Pharisees. And you reveal them to the lowly ones, the babes.
Yep.
So get to
I forgot about that scripture. Yeah.
Great privilege. Look, you don't see very few Bethelites. J.W. Struggle, Marcus Vaughn, God bless them all. But you don't see circuit overseers, missionary graduates, and all those people doing the work. You see fishermen. You see people of the earth. You see the lowly ones, because the lowly ones are the ones that have the great privilege to talk about the truth. This is the truth. That's a lie. And remember when the demons went where Jesus kicked them out and they tried to praise him? Jesus says, no, shut up. Nobody can hear you. They're not worthy. You know who's worthy? the woman who was hurt, the young teenager that was molested. Those are the people that are bearing witness of Jehovah and his organization here on earth. They're the ones that have the great privilege of saying these guys are a bunch of liars. These are the ones that sold God for money. So if you're one of those people, be happy, like Jesus says. Raise up your hand and your head, because you have the great privilege to tell everybody the truth, that what you witnessed. Just like Peter says, we can't keep quiet about the things that we saw and heard.
Mm-hmm. And now we have that freedom.
Yeah,
now
we're
we
not.
have true freedom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So don't forget to vote for me. And if you have a full-time job,
follow the money.
That's right. Follow the money and make sure I get the book and make sure I sell enough of these to be able to compete with Jared Loesch. No, just kidding.
I like that. Well, this was fun. I had fun tonight. Thank you. Thanks for joining me, Gilbert.
Did you learn anything? Or yeah?
I learned a lot. Yeah.
So
I learned we need to bring the humor back in. That was a big one. Yeah.
We need to bring the fun in apostasy. Make it fun. Make apostasy fun again. MAFA.
Make apostasy fun. I like that. Yeah. Because they expect us to be sad, but no, we're truly happy.
No,
we're in a good place. We lost everything, but we're in a good place. Trust me.
We're happy because we love them, Gail. We're happy because we care enough about them that we're doing what we're doing. Just like Jesus said.
They want us to hear everything. They want us to be negative and our lives to be ruined, and it just, that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear anything good about being an apostate, leaving that organization. I found that out a long time ago.
That's Watchtower. That's the Hindenburg.
Watchtower, exactly.
It's going up in flames. It's going up in flames, guys.
Oh wow! Yeah.
It's going up.
Yeah,
I can't hear enough of people that are leaving. I mean, I hear that people are leaving in droves, and I get online, I look, and there's still Kingdom Halls open, and I go, what? Come on. And I hope it's a bunch of lies on the internet as far as Kingdom Halls being open. I hope people are leaving in droves like I hear. But,
hey guys, in the chat section, they say make lemonade, not Kool-Aid. Someone said that in the chat section.
Yeah, I think in the big cities they keep.
Who was that guy that had that website and said don't drink the Kool-Aid?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Go ahead, Gail.
No, I was just saying. I think in bigger cities they keep the Kingdom Halls open. But it's happening in smaller counties. Trust me, it is. Yeah.
And
but okay.
Really, I mean, seriously, I go past the one that I used to go to. It's in Iowa. I heard the ones in the smaller towns have closed. I don't know. I mean, they're miles away. I haven't drove there, but I go past the one that I used to go to, and the lots are full. I mean, maybe everybody, there's these other Kingdom Halls and people are going to that. I don't know, but it bothers me.
Well, if it's on a main road, like you're saying, it makes sense that they consolidate it, and for that very reason, so people like you can see it and scratch your head like, wait a minute, what's going on? It's calculated, trust me. Yeah.
I hope so. I really hope so, because I mean, the information is out there for people to look at, and it took me to 2017 to do my research. I left in 1990. I'm an old guy, and I go, man, I saw the Australian Royal Commission and everything else online. I couldn't believe it, and then all the facts, all their Armageddon predictions. I thought I was going to be dead before the year 2000. When I left in 1990, I thought I was a dead man. I mean, I walked around. I thought, man, it's going to happen. I'm going to die any day. And I heard a loud bang or whatever. I thought, oh my God, it's going to happen. This is it, you know, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get over that? How long did it take you to get past that?
Well, after the year 2000, I figured that generation was dead unless Jehovah made them live longer. So I just got numb from it. After 2000, and I remember 2014. I said, "This is 100 years. This is it. This is it." And it went by. Years went by, and here I am in 2022, and yeah, it just, I knew it was a bunch of bullshit, you know, and you know, it was just all to get members and money. It's all about money.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Well, we're
people
so glad
do
you're
their
free
research
from
on
that.
Watchtower, what's that?
I said, we're so glad you're free from that. That's torturous if you
Oh,
were living that way.
I am. But they took so much from me.
Yeah.
I mean, they, you know, all that stress and thinking you're going to die any moment or Armageddon's going to come any time and you're going to die. They took a lot from me.
Yeah.
You know, and also my family weren't with witnesses, and I was, and I just I lost a lot of birthdays, holidays, stuff I can't go back and get. You know, a lot of my family members are dead now, and I can't go back and get that. They took that from me, you know, and very emotional, and they stole it.
Correct.
I mean, because of that nasty religion. And all it is a publishing company disguised, a corporation disguised as a nasty cult.
Yeah.
That's all they've ever been. That's what they are now. The internet ruined them.
Yeah.
They took that publishing company away from them for the most part, and it's the internet.
Yeah.
You know, and they shut them down. That's why they're going to do a media center. Get more money from people. And yeah, we need to do some national protest. You know, one of these kingdom halls. I talked to Rick earlier tonight. I said on this program, we need to do some protest. I mean, just set a date and do a national protest. Everybody come out with signs and everything in front of these kingdom halls and tell people what they are about. They're a nasty cult. They hide child molesters, and they cover all, you know, all their abuse. They cover up, and you know, they're just after money. That's all they're after.
Yeah. And that's why we do what we do every Saturday night, to bring awareness, to plant seeds, to be there when people are looking for answers. You know, we hope that's what this show has accomplished tonight, you know, and
It has, ma'am. It really has. This is the only platform we got. You know, you, Rick Farron, and all the crew and everything else is. Well, you people are the only ones we got right now. I mean, that's all I can say. You know. But,
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. You know, you showed that it's possible
Yeah,
to recover after you leave. You really did. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Well, there you have it. An hour went by so fast.
Yeah. You know, Gail, a long time ago, we had the VA, the Vast Apostolic Army hour, and J.W. Struggle was on, and I remember he said it, and this is where wisdom falls on everybody. God makes it rain everywhere. Jesus says, good people, evil people, bad people, everybody gets rain. Same thing with wisdom. Everybody gets something. And remember in the movie when he goes, you got to get busy living or you got to get busy dying. So that's what we're telling you, Jehovah's Witnesses. You got to get busy living. You got to get busy dying. It doesn't matter if you're in or out. You got to get busy living. And that's what we want you to do.
Yeah.
And that's what, and Jesus said it the best, shine your light. Your light.
And most of us are doing that. We are living a good life, and we're trying to help others, that the ones that want help, the ones that need help, we're here. And so do we have anybody else that wanted to say anything before we close to Gilbert? Because it's time for Pasta Babe. She is up next.
Love Linda.
Linda, my favorite apostate.
Well, Linda and I go back. We met in San Diego in person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I did the flyover, the second flyover.
Okay.
Stop Hiding Child Abuse, jwfacts.com. And I remember I went on the show with Linda, and then the girl's like, I was at that convention. And she got out, she started doing the research. But yeah, Linda and I, we go back way back in the day. We had a great dinner. It was a beautiful night. And,
wow. And she got out because she saw that?
Well, she was close to San Diego. She had to drive, but yeah, she met up with us, and yeah, it was a pleasure hanging out with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like her style.
All right.
I wanted to come in. In fact, Gilbert, I wanted to say, this is Rick here in Massachusetts, but you got me thinking tonight. I'm sitting here listening to you, and this idea of electing a governing body member, that sounds reasonable to me. I wish the Watchtower would take heed. If nothing else, I mean, you might lose this election, but I'm thinking if they're just listening to your agenda, I'm thinking if they could just copy that, they should come out with a campaign. Why should they?
Let's make it so simple. The people who own Watchtower, the shareholders, they used to have a goose that laid the golden egg, but the goose is now laying recycled tin cans. I'm serious. So the shareholders of Watchtower Corporation need to say, you know what? We need to get rid of these guys. These guys need to go, all of them. They have destroyed the goose that laid the golden egg. And you know what? Watchtower can become a religion that has now teaches cult education, and they can make more money than they ever have, and the goose can lay her golden eggs again. What I'm saying is, the people say, well, Gilbert, you can't reform Watchtower. Anything is possible with God. But what I'm saying is that Watchtower needs new leadership. They're bleeding money, and the corporate shareholders need to realize these guys got to go. They all have to go. And the elders who blindly have caused damage, irreparable damage, they all have to go. So this is what the voting process does. It brings light to how incompetent these men are. They're not.
Well, just to bring it up, I mean, you got me thinking. I mean, I think you know the story. I actually was invited in the year 2000. In the year 2000, to come down to Garrett Loesch was a friend of mine, and he invited me down to Brooklyn, and for a potential position on the governing body. But I didn't have to run a campaign or anything. So what they do is they invite people down. There were 3 other people that day that were also being interviewed for the position. But I mean, I didn't want it, to tell you the truth. But what point? I mean, they didn't really vet me out or anything. I was in good standing and getting my time in, and all you have to do to be on the governing body is say you're anointed and be a salesperson. And you're a good salesperson, and we just got to get you anointed. I think you're already anointed, but I think
it's real simple. When I learned the truth about the truth, I got on my knees, I ate bread, I drank wine, and it was just me and God. And I said, can I talk to Jesus? And I just says, I'm tired. I surrendered. I completely just surrendered and said, enough. I can't take this anymore. Yeah. And the other day,
that's you being serious. You're being serious now. Yeah.
The other day, I thank God. I says, God, thank you, because I don't want to go to heaven. I don't want to be a member of the 144,000. I don't want nothing. I'm just happy just being here.
Yeah.
Surrender.
Yeah.
And that's why Jehovah's Witnesses, you're so unhappy, because you just want. Why don't you just be happy and just do nothing and just be happy and walk with God?
Yeah. They're postponing their happiness for a later date for paradise, but the time to be happy is now. Be happy now.
Paradise at a price. You lose your daughter, you lose your son at a price.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, this was fun. Thank you for being here, joining me tonight, Gilbert. Yeah, you knocked it out the park.
Mhm.
You made a good case, and let's see how many votes you get.
No, we're gonna get them.
All right. Yeah.
Can I
Just keep
just
shining
say
your light.
one
Yes.
thing?
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
Yes.
Gail?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Gilbert made a statement about new leadership. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's too late. There's been too much damage for any new leadership. Uh, it wouldn't matter if they took away a lot of the things like disfellowshipment, shunning, and all of that. It's too late. Too many people have died.
Mhm.
Too much damage. Too much hurt. Too much of everything.
Correct.
It's a cult no matter what. They
Correct.
still are liars. And, so it doesn't matter what they do to clean it up.
Right.
Correct. Correct. I understand that. I totally agree with
This sister said no. She just said everything right now. That sister said everything. This is Jeff.
Yes,
And
it
she
is true.
said everything right there.
It is true, but you have to remember this is a corporation. You can say the same thing about other corporations that also have to go, but they're not going anywhere. What we do need to do is bring.
That's what people need to realize.
No, we need to bring light. No.
It's a nasty cult.
Don't interrupt.
Nasty cult.
Listen, don't interrupt the governing body when speaking. This is the point. It's real simple. We just need to bring light, because once you bring light, it doesn't matter who wins or what happens at the end. The fact that what the last caller said, what she said is right. The fact that you're bringing people talking about it, the fact that you got the movement going, people will be leaving. That is the ultimate goal. I don't care if they become a military.
It is, sir, but it is a nasty corporation.
And that
disguised as a nasty cult. That's all it is, sir. That's all it is.
We've challenged them to make these changes. If they stop the shunning and let people accept blood and some other things, but they can't. It's too late to change. So what's happening is they're being backed into a corner. We're saying make these changes, but while we're saying you can't.
They don't want to change the blood doctrine because they know they'll get sued over people that have died over it.
Right.
That's why they don't want to change the blood doctrine right now.
Yeah, and by us saying
they're going to get sued.
Yeah. So by us saying change that doctrine will bring light to how insidious that doctrine is and how it's killing people, but they can't change because of all the people that have died. What's going to happen? So they're backed into a corner. And the people have to make a choice.
It's all about money.
Yeah, we know.
Money. Follow the money.
Yes.
No. It's not all about money. No, you're wrong. It's all about the human being individual. And this is why we want them backed in a corner. Because
Watchtower is about money. It comes down to money.
It's all about the human being.
I don't care. I'm sorry, it comes down to money.
You're wrong. We care about the human being. No, we care about the human being, and we want to back him in the corner. No, we're going to back him. We're going to back him in the corner because every life is precious. Do you understand? Money is going to be earned. It's worthless. Every life is
precious.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say, sir.
Yes.
When it comes to Watchtower, it's about money. All about money.
You don't understand.
And that's what the campaign, we're bringing light to that.
Sir.
Yeah.
No, there's people
I understand at these people.
There's people
caller, why are you yelling
Who, me? I'm Jeff.
Yeah, I'm talking about you. My name is Carrie.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
why are you yelling at these people?
I'm not. I'm not trying to yell
at if you're angry, you have a right to be.
I'm trying to put a point across.
Your point
is Watchtower is about money, ma'am.
Okay.
They're about money, and if they change their blood doctrine, they're going to get sued from people dying in the past from not taking blood, ma'am.
And
And
we
it's
all know
serious.
that.
It's very
You're-
serious.
you're-
It's a
you're
very serious
speaking-
deal.
You're
Correct.
speaking
It's
to
a very
Jehovah's
serious deal.
Witnesses
People have
here.
died.
What is your
People have
problem?
died.
Yeah.
Why are
Ma'am,
you
ma'am,
yelling?
people have died over
What
not.
is your fight? What is your battle? What is your problem? Why are you
I have
yelling
a problem
at
with
everybody?
Watchtower. I have a problem with
A
them because
million
they're nasty.
of all of us.
Ma'am, they're a nasty
But you're
organization.
not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
You're not
And you
getting anywhere.
And you know what? Also,
But
you have to.
Why am I not? I'm speaking. Why am I getting anywhere? Come on.
No,
Tell me.
It's working. That's what we're saying. It's working. And what we did tonight was total satire. What Gigi for GB is doing is bringing attention to it in a Saturday Night Live kind of way.
Yes,
Kind of like,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So it's working.
Yes, ma'am.
But you know what? There's elders. There's
But people need to realize that people are dying from the blood doctrine and all their policies.
Hey,
Yes.
stop it
I
already.
mean,
Stop it.
the
Oh, no,
stunning
this-
people.
hey,
I
hey,
had a
hey,
good friend.
Stop.
Less than 6 months ago, he committed suicide because he was being shunned by his whole family.
You're right.
Yeah, you're right. That was, yeah.
It's a nasty, nasty organization.
Hey, listen.
And people need to realize this.
Hey, you've overstayed your welcome. No, he has to be told. Gail, you overstayed your welcome. Stop it. Now listen.
We're on your side.
I'm not arguing with you.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
He's just really passionate about it. I get it.
Jeff, they're not trying to. I can understand your complaints here to some degree, but they're on your team. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not against you. They understand it. But Gilbert is just saying it's more than money. He knows part of it's money, but it's more than money. So they're not trying to.
Well, Rick, you're saying it right, Rick. I'm just saying it's just I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Stop.
Favoritism in this organization under any circumstance. It's just a nasty cult.
All right. No, let's.
There's no question about it.
We get it now. Listen, I don't want to have to mute you, but just kind of cool it right now, okay?
Don't cut me off. I'm not going to say no more. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, just relax now. Just relax. All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
They're evil. It's
Well,
an evil organization.
we all know
you need to do a national protest.
No, I'm out.
I don't care if it's on the memorial or what.
All right, Jeff, we're gonna mute you here. We can't go on like that. I mean, Gilbert's not here to hurt you. Gilbert's here to help you. Go ahead.
And Rick, just remember this: there's people inside Watchtower. There's people in your home congregation, and God loves them too. And we know they're wrong. We know they're doing. But guess what? Every human being is worth redeeming. So that's all I'm saying. So I'm not gonna condemn everybody. There's Nicodemus was in the governing body, and he changed at the very end. Paul was in the governing body, and he changed at the very end. So I'm just saying there's a lot of good people in the Jehovah's Witness world. Yes, the organization, the corporation is bad, but we don't care about that. We care about the individuals. Yeah. We care about the human beings. And that's the point I'm trying to get across.
And with that point, Gilbert, we will wrap it up and say good night. Thank you for being here. Keep us posted. And Rick, I'll turn it back over to you. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Well, thank you, Gail. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Gilbert. But before Gilbert, he's pointing at the map. But I want you to know, Gilbert. See, when you jump out in the limelight and you're going to be running for these offices, you're going to get beat up. I mean, that's what goes on. I mean, you want to be like a politician or what? That's what happens. You're gonna get.
We just need to drink a beer and it'll all be fixed.
Hey, we can go. Hey, you got it. Well, thank you.
We know how to have fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we had fun. We had fun tonight. All right, you guys keep waving that flag of victory. All right, we're gonna go to Apostle Babe. She's coming on next. We're going to end this program, but don't go too far. Apostle Babe's coming on next. There's Gilbert. Remember to give me a vote. All right, he's a crazy man, but he's doing good. And also, Jeff, look, you're my friend. I'm not trying to beat you up, but this was like satire. Do you understand that? In other words, this was like a fun program. He's not totally serious. You understand? So thank you, though, Jeff. We appreciate your thoughts. All right, we're going to go to Apostle Babe. That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Come back in a few minutes. We'll be right on with a new program. And we've been doing it all night long. So let's end this program now. Going to do it right now. And Apostle Babe is going to be coming on here momentarily. Linda, are you on there? I see you're on the radio network. Did you want to come on YouTube? I'm not sure what Linda wants to do. I did send her a link. But anyways, hey, haven't we had fun tonight? We had some fun tonight. That was good tonight. I just want to make sure that I do have this program off. All right, let's do that. Let's shut it down right now. Where are we here? All right, just give me a second. Yes, okay, there, Apostle Baby. You coming on YouTube tonight?
Yes, please.
All right, I sent you a link.
I'm not seeing it yet. You sent it to the link I left for you?
Yeah, I sent it to that.
Okay.